Hello, Reach Your Happy family. Welcome back to another episode of Reach Your Happy with Laura. My last video left off on an abrupt note where I came to the realization that regret is such a powerful teacher. So it was about a year ago. I had a pretty serious concussion. I have had many throughout my life, so every one that follows generally is a little bit worse and it takes a little longer to recover from. So the head injury I had to have a hood on, I had to have sunglasses on. I think it was about 2 weeks of that. I couldn't listen to TV, I couldn't watch it. It was really, really rough. And I was supposed to be going for my first degree black belt in Krav Maga, and obviously with a head injury that just wasn't possible. And about 6 months prior, I had an ankle and hamstring injury that happened like 4 days before the test, so I had to put it off again. So this head injury happening again, it was just like, it was really rough. I was definitely in a depressed zone. So fast forward a year, and I have had a medical issue going on for me for the past 3 weeks or so. We figured it out what it was. There's a surgery that can take care of it. Such a gift. I'm so thankful. And you know, that year ago injury, the head injury, I was in survival mode and I ate whatever felt good. And for me, I ate a ton of soup and a lot of fat, like one meal a day kind of thing. That's all that I could really bear. Like I'd be standing over the stove like, oh my God. And the whole time I was thinking, I'm not getting protein in. I'm eating so much fat. I'm losing all my muscle. Just like really quite awful to myself. And it resulted in a good amount of weight gain, a massive drop off of my self-confidence, and definitely shifted my relationship to myself in not a great way. I was definitely not abusive, but just not very nice to myself. And it took me a long time to recover. And a thing that I've been working on for such a long time is my relationship to myself and wanting to love me. Like I see what a love I am to other people and how much I give and care, and how when someone talks negatively about themselves or whatever, I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. But to me, I had a double standard. It was like, yeah, those rules don't apply to you. Like you don't deserve that kindness. So this medical issue this year came up, and I immediately decided, you know what? Last time I was in this position with this unknown gap of when am I going to feel better, I'm going to shift things. Last time I just said, screw it, to everything, to movement, to caring for myself, and I regret that. I could have done that so differently. I had all the support. I have the finances to buy the proper food. I know walking is helpful, even if it's slow. And I didn't do anything. I was deeply depressed. So this time around, I was a little hard on myself, but in a different way, where I was trying to make myself move every day. And I'd go on walks and I'd just feel so depleted and have to turn around and be like, God damn it. I want to do this differently, but like this is so hard. And so I narrowed in on what exactly would be most beneficial for me. What do I deeply feel would be most beneficial in this healing process? In protein. I track my protein, I track my carbs, and I track my fat as I'm in this gaining phase of gaining muscle. And I was like, you know what? Screw the carbs and the fat. I'm just going to focus on protein. Protein, the building blocks of life. It'll help me sustain this muscle that I have already acquired. And I don't want to regret this. I don't want to regret this 3 week. I didn't know how long it was going to be. It was like the first couple days, and I was like, I am staying on track with one thing. I will not have an expectation about movement. I will not have an expectation about my mindset or work. I had to cancel work it was a solid 2 weeks maybe even 2.5 weeks of cancellations. And if you're a client of mine, you know how much I value you and helping you work through whatever you got going on. And to have to choose myself, be forced to choose myself was deeply challenging, but it showed me what a lovely community of humans I'm working with that are so loving and kind right back to me. And it was such a gift. So thank you. If you were someone I had to reschedule with, thank you so much for showing me that unconditional love. Did not go unnoticed. And so I said, I can't do anything. A lot's out of my control. This is awful. But let me choose one thing to focus on. I made my world very small. Okay, hit your protein goal every single day. Doesn't matter if you're not moving, if you're not lifting, nope, doesn't matter. You're just gonna hit it, Law. You're just gonna do it. And I've done it. It's been now 3 weeks, I think almost going on the 4th week, and I've hit it every day. And without the pain and the discomfort and the regret and the discord, the lack of confidence, right? The pain that I experienced from my last injury, I wouldn't have developed and grown in the way that I did this time. So sometimes we act in ways and we deeply regret it. And maybe you have someone that you love that you didn't treat them how you wanted to treat them, and then they passed away. And it's like, I can never make that up. That's a really hard pill to swallow. And I can't say that I know how that feels, but I can use my imagination. And I am sorry that that is your reality. And I also know that that can change you going forward in every other relationship you have. That people are here as our divine teachers in ways that we don't necessarily ever expect them to be, but they are. And regret of not behaving how you wanted to behave, whether it's treating yourself a certain way, treating another, we get to redeem ourselves by choosing differently in our future. And so it's processing the grief of the loss that you had, that opportunity to respond differently and you didn't, you weren't mature enough, or you were too in your head, or whatever the reasons are. But it's processing that and then making a decision. You do have to decide. Going forward, I'm going to have relationships like this. Going forward, I'm going to let things go more. Going forward, I'm going to be more communicative. I'm going to be more honest. For me, going forward, I'm going to value myself because I realize more than ever, me being well is everything. It's everything. My physical health, my mental health, my emotional health is above anyone and anything. Because if I'm not well, I have no business and no ability, it's not even business, no ability to hold space for someone else. I deeply witnessed that over the past couple weeks, that I did not have the capacity. There was none. I had like a little thread of ability and all of that had to go to me. And what a gift that was, realizing, the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. Put yourself first. Take care of yourself. Put your oxygen mask on first before you help another. Because if you're passed out in the airplane and your child's sitting there, they can't even reach the air, right? It really is, okay, secure me first. I'm stable. I'm solid. Now I can go help another. And I believe also in living that example, in choosing yourself, in waking up at 5 a.m., going to bed earlier, waking up at 5 a.m., going for that walk, doing that workout, making that food, going to the doctor's appointment, whatever it is for you, taking care of your health and your well-being. Maybe your husband misses out on that, late night movie with you, and maybe he wishes you were there when he woke up in the morning. And yeah, there are sacrifices that need to be made, but if that is something that's a priority to you, no one else can make that choice for you. And maybe you will inspire others to wake up and do the same thing, to take care of themselves. In this period where I was pretty unwell, my husband prioritized his exercise for the first time ever. It was he is very exercise driven. He has a ton of energy, and he's his happiest when he gets a good lift in or a good workout, whatever it is. And in the past, he's kind of been like, oh, I feel bad. You're not in a good place. Like, I'm like, no, please do it. And this time we didn't even have to have that conversation. He just did it. And then he had such a capacity to care for me and be there for me emotionally, making me food physically, right? Like that kind of stuff, helping me hit my protein goals. So it's such a clear example of how honoring yourself, caring for your health, your well-being in whatever capacity, then allows you to be a better giver when the time comes. And, as a parent, I'm not a parent, but as a parent, caring for yourself. Because if you're not around, then you're no help to your kid. Angelically, perhaps, but not in the same way. Me as a wife, it's like, if I don't care for myself, then this guy's left alone. I don't want to do that. And I'm not being healthy for just my husband. I'm being healthy for me, for my livelihood, so I can show up to work and I can do what I love and feel so fulfilled by. And without the contrast of having experienced that head injury and just feeling like, F it, I wouldn't have made the choices I did today and in the past 2 weeks. I wouldn't have. And it hasn't just changed my relationship to my body. It's changed how I'm talking to myself. I am so much kinder to myself by giving myself compassion and giving myself the proper nutrients to support my healing through this time. Everything feels better. I am in a much different place in relationship to me and regulating myself in workouts, in work, in creating content. Everything has shifted. And in my last video, I mentioned, divine timing, that this has come about in perfect timing. Not too soon, not too late, just when I was ready to receive it. And you can only receive what you are ready to receive. And you can't force yourself to be ready, but you can absolutely do the things that are in your best interest that help align you with the life that you want to live. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you so much. And I'm going to label this one part 2. If you listen to this one first, I would suggest listening to the other one. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.